we've come to yet another episode. It's the final one for Nozomi. How well does it bode? For now, the mask has truly well been peeled. I wonder what hides behind such truths concealed. Though this is just one of many paths, thread through it we must and overcome at last. Be wary of the themes this chapter provides, even more so of the secrets that still hides. But take heart, take heed if you're playing through this game, for Nozomi's second part and Shinya's are virtually the same. There are a few differences, that much is true, but if you just came here for the walkthrough, this will do. But I digress, this warning has gotten rather long, so let's go ahead and not let this prolong. So here is the conclusion and the dependence of Nozomi's second act, Dark Abundance. Alrighty boys and girls, what's up internet? Let's continue on with our spoiler-free walkthrough and guide for Monark. As our warning made mention, this second part of Nozomi's second act is similar to that of Shinya's. The difference, which is something I've mentioned in the previous video, is in how the story unfolds and the enemies you will encounter. Also, take note that if you already obtained the items at a location that both characters shared, excluding of course the key items, then you would no longer find them in the locations you initially did. Apart from that, the progression and the puzzle solutions for the characters sharing the same locations will remain the same. Anyways, once you're ready to start the next chapter of the second act, simply head to the Dean's office to trigger a very interesting and somewhat long cutscene. Now, what happens in that cutscene depends on which character's route you have taken, and though they do vary a significant degree, all of these cutscenes are essentially piecing together the truth of what is actually happening in the academy. Once the cutscene is concluded, speak with everyone in the Dean's office. This will net you the first year building basement key, so take that and head to the first year's building to make use of it on the door leading down the basement closest to the first year building entrance. Getting near the staircase will trigger an event. After the event is done and you are free to roam about, wait for Vanitas to first give you the phone number to the depths. Make that call to be whisked away to the precipice of woe, where, if this is your first time here, you will be fighting against level 39 to 45 enemies and will be dealing with a map that has 2 spike balls and 2 poison flowers as gimmicks. With Nozomi, you will also be facing a special type of enemy which should pose no problems, and you should just consider it as you would fiends. Otherwise, if you're playing through Shinya's route, level 54 to 57 enemies will be awaiting you, and instead of spike balls and poison flowers, you'll have to deal with the will-o-wisp and paralysis flowers, as well as a brand new gimmick, the auto cannon. You will not be dealing with the special enemy though, so keep that in mind. Regardless of how the battle is set up, the goal remains the same: destroy the singularity. So do just that to be able to free yourself from the death calls from this area. Once the battle is done and you are free to explore, be sure to obtain the following items. Also, do note that in Nozomi's route, be sure to avoid the special type of unhinge in the area. Though they are stationary, there are some who will increase your mad gauge if you end up getting too close to them. Meanwhile, in Shinya's route, these NPCs are fewer, almost non-existent even, in numbers. In the basement, you will find a locker with a hint on how to open it on the red note to its right. The password for this locker is 2653, which can be found on the Chroma Monarch note. It is basically the order the monarchs for the ego on that note can be found. So, input the password to get the first year building basement 2 key, which is what we came here for. With this key in hand, leave this room while being careful of the lone unhinge you can find here, as they will try to catch you. Go back up to the main floor of the first year building and head towards where Miho is and to the locked door near her. Use the key here to get to the second basement area. Head down the basement passage to basement floor 2. There is no singularity to deal with here, so simply explore the area to obtain the lone 170 spirit from the sparkling spot. There are 2 lockers in this area. The passwords for them are obtained in different routes, but if you would like to open them at this moment, then when facing the locker, the one on the left opens with 1000 or 1000, while the one on the right does with 0361, and you will get Memo Fertile Ground 8 and Memo Unholy Ground R respectively. Once you've obtained all the items, look for the bed frame in this room, found in the southeastern side of the map. Get close to it to trigger the phone call that will whisk you to the first ideal you will need to shatter. Again, the enemies and gimmicks you will face depends on which route you are taking and on whether it is your first time in this realm or not. If it's your first time with Nozomi, like in my playthrough, then you will encounter enemies ranging from level 42 to level 47 and gimmicks that include breakable walls, will-o-wisp, paralysis flowers, and autocannon. Again, there are 2 of that special enemy unit here along with the fiends. Meanwhile, in Shinya's route, there are no special units, and you will only be dealing with fiends that are level 49 to 59, while for gimmicks, you will deal with the will-o-wisp, breakable walls, a paralysis flower, and teleportation gates. Like with all the battles for the ideals though, beat all the enemies, which so long as you have properly leveled up, you should have no problems in dealing. After the battle and after shattering the ideal, which, let's be honest, will give you a very good idea as to who you should really be facing at this point, you will be whisked back to the main building and into the student council room. Here, a cutscene will immediately start and you will obtain the next basement key. After that short event, speak to everyone in the room and make your preparations. Level up if you can, and then head out of the room to trigger yet another event. When that event is done, head to the second year building. Be wary of your mad gauge as you travel along, since with the fog, it will increase a tick every second. So try to get to the second year building as fast as you can, and also make a pit stop at the infirmary to lower your mad gauge if you need doing so. Anyways, in the second year building, you can find a door to the basement near Nobutaka to the east of the second year building's entrance. In the basement, you will, once again, if you are in Nozomi's route, encounter the special unhinged NPCs. Get close to Vanitas to obtain the phone number to the depths. Use it to get transported to the precipice of Woe 2. Again, Nozomi's route will have enemies with levels ranging from 39 to 45 and gimmicks that include breakable walls, a paralysis flower, a charm corruptor, and 2 seal corruptors. Shinya's will have level 54 to 57 enemies and gimmicks which include breakable walls, a will-o-wisp, 2 paralysis flowers, and a healing light. Deal with the battle however you wish and break the singularity to stop the death calls. Once that is done, you will be free to explore. Here, don't forget to obtain the following while keeping out of the way of these special unhinged NPCs. There will be another locker in this building's basement storage with the clue to the password on the red note beside it. For the actual password, it's the death anniversary found in Cromwell's miscellaneous note 4. Input 1230 to obtain the second key to the basement. After obtaining the key, head to the west and follow the path to the basement room. Use the key on the door here and continue on to the next room. In this room, there will be 2 other lockers that you can open with the password for the first one being 0777, and it will net you the memo Fertile Ground 7, and 0556 on the other one to the right to obtain memo Pawns Ground SR. With those obtained, head once again to the southeastern edge of the room to trigger the phone call. Make sure your mad gauge is lowered before answering the call and being whisked to the final ideal battle in this route. For Nozomi's route, you will be facing off against the boss alongside 2 of that special enemy unit and a couple of fiends. The boss is at level 48, the special units at level 47, and the fiends range from level 42 to 47. There are no gimmicks apart from the autocannons on the east side of the map. Meanwhile, in Shinya's route, you won't be encountering those special enemies, but instead you'll be facing off against a level 60 boss with fiends ranging from level 52 to 57. Gimmick-wise, there's no autocannons, but there will be 2 Will-O-Wisp, 2 Paralysis Flowers, a Healing Light, and a Summon Gate that spawns an enemy when you get close. Attack-wise, the boss uses Tata, which is a spiky 1-unit attack frequently on Nozomi's route. I can't say much about its strength since my units at this point were over-leveled to the point where that attack always misses. She can also use Mortal Coil, which does over 160 damage on my level 68 unit. On Shinya's route, where the boss is much stronger, she uses Fragile Things a lot, which is another spiky attack, but it does have a longer reach than Tata and deals around 160 damage as well to my level 70 units. Still, at level 88 and with level 70 allies, even Shinya's route's boss didn't pose too much of a threat. Regardless of which route you take, and after the battle, you will be treated to a pretty long cutscene, with the conclusion being dependent on the character you chose to take the route of. At the end of this cutscene will be a choice, and regardless of the choice, provided it's not the 4th and final character's route, you will be taken back to the main building and to the point of the game where intermission dusk has just concluded. Here, you will need to speak with a different character than the one you chose prior to start their routes and begin the loop anew. So yeah, you would have to go through this 4 times before the story converges into a singular linear plot once again. Again, just a reminder, Nozomi and Ryotaro both have similar initial chapters in their second acts, while Nozomi and Shinya follow the same progression for the latter chapters of their respective second acts. And that's all the time we have for today. Next up, we will be tackling Kokoro's route, whom she shares the first chapter with Shinya and the concluding chapter with, again, Ryotaro. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, you guys know the drill. Dream on, fly on. Bye bye for now. Keep safe, everyone.
Someday we'll have our last conversation.